If you're that person where you and your partner are like, oh, I don't know if I want to have kids or not. Oh, like our lives are changed. I don't know if I want babies. Oh, I want to, but I'm scared. Don't fucking do it. Being child free in your 30s and 40s is an absolutely unparalleled experience for me. I love it so much. And it's not the same as being child free in your 20s. It's totally different. I've always been pressured by that time frame that women have to decide whether or not they want to have kids. For me, the issue was I don't want kids now. I'm 36 years old. I do not want children. But am I going to regret it? Like, am I going to be 80 and be like, oh, I wish I had kids? That's not a reason to have children. So fuck time frames. There is no time frame on your decision to be a parent. You can be a parent at 60, at 50, at 40, at 100. There's no time frame. Yeah, adoption's been canceled, I know. But there's other options. Doesn't have to be a child, doesn't have to be a human. You know you better than anyone else. What do you want now? Be free. If you want a baby, go have one. If you can't have babies, I'm so sorry you made it to the
Having kids because you think you may regret it if you don't have them is actually not a good reason to have kids. And she is correct on that one. All right, so we're going to look into a few videos about people that gave their opinion about child free lifestyle and what they think about people not wanting to go the route of being parents. I thought these were very, very interesting takes, especially hers. I never really thought about that point that she made, but I feel like she really hit the nail on the head with it. Don't let that be a reason to have children. Please don't. So let's get into these bunch of videos, and I'll see you in the next clip.
I don't want to be attached to nobody, to their drama, to their trauma, and to their bullshit. I do not want them problems. I don't want to pile so much onto this life. I really want to live a very minimalistic life. I want less, less responsibilities, less stuff, less bills. I want less. And I want to just simply be. I don't want to constantly do. I don't want to have to take them to school when I think the school system is similar to a prison system. I'm not a fan of that institution. I'm not a fan of capitalism. I'm not a fan of how they are programming us to be sheep. I'm not a fan how they're programming us to be followers and not to stand up for ourselves. I'm not a fan. So if you're not a fan, don't do it.
When she said that she's not a fan of the education system, I my heart just kind of fell to the floor because I am not a fan of homework. I'm not a fan of just piling on a bunch of stuff onto children that, how should I put it? I feel like some things should take priority: English, math, and finances, understanding finances, financials, taxes, basic life lessons should be taught first. Then we can teach history, we can teach all these different things, language arts, different languages, all these other things come after. That is what I don't like about the system. It's almost like they're adding all this extra stuff, fluff I call it, that we really they don't really need. But it's just like a, let's make them a cultured person. I get that. But please at least give the children the basics. Let them get that down pat. But I mean the system is I don't know what's going to happen to this next generation that's coming up. A lot of them can't read. A lot of the parents are very, I don't know. I don't even know what is wrong with these parents. But they're not parenting. They're not. They it's almost like they view the kids as purses, like there's possessions to have, controlling another human being. I don't want to control another human being. So that's why I'm like, I'm not sure about even marriage too. So yeah, I just don't want to have to be like monitoring to see someone is faithful to me, monitoring someone's whereabouts, where are you going, what are you doing here, why did you do this, why did you do, I just don't like the idea. And it goes onto even children, you have to constantly be worried about what's going on with them. And so that's a lot of stress. There's a lot of other things in the world that need nurturing. It doesn't have to be a child. Let's continue.
That's exactly how I feel. Like, even outside of the good things that can happen to you as a human being, is it really worth the pain of existence and bearing witness to the things that have happened on this planet and are still happening? And even if you're not one of those people who experience something really traumatic or live a really terrible life, which is the average person on earth, by the way, just the thought of bringing someone to the planet who's just going to be another number in the system, who will probably have to navigate an even worse society than I live in, I don't think that's okay. And of course, reproduction is a personal choice, right? But I don't think a lot of people question their motivation for having kids. They don't stop to ask why.
Yes, that's a very good question. Why? 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 But the thing is, what they don't understand is, don't we have societies that have come and gone and we know they existed and we don't have any evidence of them physically, but we know they existed? Why do we know that they existed? Because they have written books, they've done they've had manuscripts written on structures that have been buried in time that we dug up. But are there offspring existing currently? No. So the whole notion that cultures die with them when they die, so we need to have children to continue it going on, is so untrue. Culture can continue without living beings carrying it on. You can write books. We need more books to be written, more structures to be a representation of history. Everything doesn't have to be a physical thing because, to be honest, sorry, not a physical thing, I shouldn't say that. Everything shouldn't be a living, breathing version of history. Because guess what? Meteoroids happened. They have collapsed societies in the past, and there was not a single living being that was able to carry on the tradition and history. And no matter how many children they all had, no matter how big their society got, there was no one to carry it on. But the only thing that we know for true, and we know is the thing that continued their culture or the awareness of their culture, is their writings, the things that they built and structures that they put together, the engravings on walls. That was the proof of their existence and their culture. So miss me with children carrying on anything. And that's all I got to say. Let's get on to the next one.
You know, out of all the times I've ever told someone that I don't want to have children, nobody has ever said to me, wow, I love that you know that about yourself. 9 times out of 10, they'll try and talk me out of it, and I just have to sit there like this, waiting until they're done, because like I knew I didn't want to have kids when I was a kid. It's been 10 years, still don't. And honestly, like, have you taken a look around? It's the pits. I don't think you can blame me.
She's so right. Um, Knowing that you don't want children at a very young age is actually something that, it's a blessing, because it's most people they have that vision, oh, they're going to be a parent because they saw their grandparents did it, they saw their own parents did it, and it just felt like a normal thing to do. But then when you really look around and you're like studying other people's lives, and now this took me most of my early 20s to look around and see other people's lives and start to envision how I want my life to be. Am I living the way that I envisioned I would live? Not exactly. Um, but as a child free person, yes, this is kind of like, life is a little bit easier to digest in the situation that I'm in. in terms of my finances and getting myself to the next level of life, right? So it's definitely a blessing for a young person to know that this is something that they don't want from that young. 10 years, so I'm guessing she's maybe 20. Wow. Let's go on to the next one.
Girl, same. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I do not regret having children, but I do regret going into parenthood a little willy nilly. I think too many of us go into it with our eyes wide open of what parenthood really entails, having no clue. And I believe that not having kids should be the default, and those who want children should really, truly investigate the why and if their life is really set up to be a benefit to children. So I really appreciate the child-free side of TikTok because y'all are spurring all these conversations that should have been had generations ago.
What she said was actually very, very profound. Not having children or being child free as being the default, and the choice to be a parent being like something that's taken serious. So, say for example, the child free person, everyone is child free. Not everyone. You get what I'm saying. If it's the default, and the person who makes the decision to be a parent is scrutinized and go through the ringer to make sure that they have a setup that is most benefit for children, I think is should be the right way things should be. And she doesn't understand what she said was so profound. Again, I'm saying it for the third time, so profound. um it kind of reminds me of like, I should look into that though. I should look into a queen bee's harem. Now I shouldn't say harem because it's not a harem, but how bees society is orchestrated. I know the default is everyone is child free. There's one or one or a few queen bees. I don't know if there's more than one queen bee in the hive or if they have just one, and she's the one who lives among the other child free worker female bees who work to support her offspring, support the hive, make the honey, and they kick out the male when because he's of no use. He can't make honey, he can't sting or defend anything because he has no stinger, and he can't help with the offspring. So I have to really look deeper into the honey, sorry, not the honey, the bee society to see how they do things, because I think she's really talking about a honey society. But anyway, let's continue on to the next one.
I don't understand why you don't want to give me grandbabies. Having kids is a blessing. It's a gift from God. Our generation just doesn't understand that. You know how hard it is to have kids? How hard I have to work just to keep this house from imploding? The amount of hours I have to work just to fucking feed you. You'll never understand how fucking hard it is to be a
That second part is the regret coming out, for real. But the thing is, I don't fault them for feeling that deep hurt that so many of the other generations before them did not tell them, like, hey, this is what will happen, this will, things will kind of be hard sometimes, and it will actually make you want to cry and contemplate your life. No one told them that. But what kind of puzzles me is the first part, them actually encouraging you to get into the same thing that they regretted. you know um that is the part I quite don't understand about people who don't. It's like misery wants company, and that saying rings so true when it comes to being parents. It's kind of sad, and that saying, I don't know where it came from. I'll have to look for it, but it exists for a reason. It exists for a reason. Let's continue.
A lot of people are going to read this comment and not understand it. They're going to read it and then they're going to be like, well, if you love kids, why don't you have any? It's far beyond your comprehension, honey. It's far beyond your understanding. You don't get it. And it's okay if you don't get it. It's okay if you don't get it.
I completely get it. I love kids too. I respect them a lot. They're very vulnerable, and because so many kids have been through things, like you go through adolescent strange behavior, I call it. Um, and besides that, the world is kind of crazy right now. So if you love a thing, you don't put it through misery. Not to say that your childhood is filled with misery, it's just that you don't even want something you love to even experience a morsel of misery if you can prevent it. And so the only way to prevent it is not have any of your genetics expand and become a human being. That's like the ultimate way to not have it experience that. And to me, that is the ultimate self love. You love yourself so much that you don't want to bring it out here into, I don't want to say it, it's a bit of a hellish place. Because at the end of the day, children experience this wonderful time, but in order for them to experience this wonderful time on earth from 0 to 18, maybe, you as the mother will bear the responsibility of making sure that your child is okay and always okay, and they come to you for everything and they're wronged you. That is the ultimate way, and that is a lot of responsibility if you want to do other things besides being a mother. Like, I've seen people, that is like their ultimate goal in life. They smile when they think of being a mother. It just warms their heart, and that is that person. And I love people that are like that, who are okay with other people expressing their how do you call it, expressing their maternal ways differently than them. um and it's beautiful. I really like to see when people really enjoy being parents because it's wonderful. But I really feel, I always have this inner feeling that I kind of feel sad for the kid, because I know what that existence is as a kid sometimes. Hormones hormones are really a crazy thing. You have to watch children. I don't People don't understand the magnitude of what being a mother is. I guess I think of it too highly. I don't know. But anyway, we're going to continue on to the last one. This is a lengthier video than usual. So I hope you do appreciate it and I hope you do love it. And please do like and subscribe. Let's get on to the last video.
When did you, as a child free by choice woman, start to realize that?
I think I was about 10 years old when I made the observation that people who had kids were poor and tired and didn't get to travel, and people who didn't have kids had money and got to travel. And this is obviously a broad generalization, and it's not a dig on parents. If you want to be a mommy or a daddy, do it. But my parents were exhausted raising the three of us, loved us, good parents, and I had this child-free aunt that was like, well, we're going to Europe again. And my mind was made up. I'm like, I'm gonna travel. And when I was about 11 or 12, I told both my parents, I'm like, I'm never having children. And they were both like, yeah, we know, honey. We know that you're not the one that's gonna give us grandkids. And they never pushed it on me, not once. Now I'm 37, partner got the snip, traveled to 30 countries.
I will keep this one short. Yeah, she definitely is another one that realized that this is something she wanted to do from quite young, and she did it. Um, as I've always said in my other child free video, always utilize community, build a community around you of even people that have children. If you do love children, work on that while you are growing, learning, living, doing your thing as a child-free person. Because, man, if more women chose this route, they can build careers that are profound, that they can do so much things in sciences, in the world. So many things need nurturing right now. And so, to keep this short, please do follow this journey on this page to find out more about what I'm listening to on social media, get my reactions, and see you in the next one. Toodles. And let me know your comments below on this topic. But I think you would like this one. Click it. Go ahead and click it. Thank me in the comment section. See you next time. Bye bye.